Hi there. I'm going to go over some of the weight certification information for you. First, please notice that up top I have the men's weights and the women's weight classes listed for this year. There's 14 weight classes for both men and women. Often it is not known how much you can weigh per weight class. It is good to think of it like this. The amount of the weight class, so 115, that is the absolute most you can weigh to be eligible for 115. So you can weigh you can always weigh less. You can weigh 113, 114, 114.5. You can even weigh 115.0. But if you weigh 115.1, you are overweight and ineligible to wrestle that weight class. In high school, we weigh in for every competition. Duels, we weigh in 1 hour before competition. Tournaments, we typically weigh in anywhere from 2 hours to 1 hour before the competition, the day of. Now, all wrestlers must complete a 3-step weight certification process. It's a MISHA rule and a National Federation rule. I'm going to go over what the 3 steps are. There's also a few misunderstandings and stereotypes on the weight certifications that are not true, and I want to make sure everybody understands how these work. It is important to note that all wrestlers must have this passed and completed before they are allowed to compete. The red and white rule does not count because that is not a true competition. That is considered a practice. Outside of the red and white rule, nobody will be allowed to compete without having this process completed. Step 1 is the hydration testing. That is simple. We will collect a urine sample and then it is tested. There's a number that the hydration has to be under. If you don't make a purpose of drinking water and no soda, no juices, about 24 hours before your testing, you most likely will not pass. It does take a decent amount of work to pass the hydration testing. If you fail the hydration testing, you are immediately done and the process stops. You have to wait 48 hours before you can begin it again. Assuming you pass the hydration testing, you'll then move to step number 2. Step number 2 is called alpha weight. That's a fancy name for just stepping on the scale and seeing how much you weigh. So step 1 is passing hydration. Step 2 is checking your weight. Step 3 is a skin fold testing. So men will test in 3 spots: the abdominal, just offset of the belly button, the tricep, and the subscapular. Women will only test in 2 places: tricep and subscapular. This is a skin caliper machine. The trainers or the assessors will pinch those 3 spots or 2 spots for the woman. It's going to give them a numerical number. They're going to test each spot 3 times and come up with the average skin fold number for those 3 spots. That will complete your weight certification process. Once that's completed, this information will be put into a formula. Once that formula has been released, every wrestler will have a weight plan. This is a real weight plan. I have removed the wrestler's name, but this is real data here. The initial weight was 142.5 pounds. This plan will allow the wrestler to lose a maximum of 1.5% of their body weight per week or 7-day period. It will allow them to do that until what the formula determines as 7% of their, down to 7% body fat for males, and I believe 9% for women. It will not let them drop weight below the 7% or the 9% body fat area. But again, it only lets you drop 1.5% of your body weight per week. So in this particular scenario, this kid can lose 2.14 pounds per week. So over here, they're eligible for 2 weight classes, 144 and 150. Every day of the season, every wrestler is eligible for 2 weight classes. You can see here what their actual eligible weight is. As it's dropping, it does reach below the 138 weight class on November 28th. So now this wrestler is eligible for the 138 and the 144 weight classes. It's important to remember you can always wrestle up higher than what your 2 weight classes are, but you can never wrestle below what the allowed weight class is for that day. So in this scenario, if we were to have a match today this wrestler could wrestle 144 or 150, or he could wrestle up at 157. If he weighs in at 157, 144 is permanently lost, and he'll never wrestle below 150. He will have recertified for the 150, 157 weight classes. Some kids might be able to lose 2 weight classes. There may be a 132 for some people on here. Now, this is where some misunderstandings happen. When this comes out, it absolutely does not mean that this wrestler must go down to the 138 weight class. It's just allowable. Okay? We will have a lot of wrestlers that will never reach these lower weight classes. They will stay up here in their normal body weight area. We will even have some wrestlers that will be trying to gain weight, that will be wrestling, 8, 9 pounds under, and they're trying to put on 5 or 10 pounds to go to the next weight class. That's 100% fine. Every wrestler must have this plan in place, though. Again, you don't have to follow it, but it is required. No matter what, no matter if you're cutting weight, not cutting weight, or trying to gain weight, every wrestler must take the weight certification process. So taking the process does not mean that you are going to start cutting weight or required to cut weight. On average on our team, we probably only have 5 to 10 kids that will cut what I would consider cutting weight. The rest will monitor, watch, and then there will be a percentage that will be trying to gain weight throughout the season.